Are you afraid?
I used to chase solitude like some people chase adrenaline. There's a particular kind of peace in being utterly alone, miles from another soul. My favorite spot was Blackwood Lake, a name that hinted at its depth and the ancient pines crowding its banks. I'd pack light, grab my fishing gear, and spend a few days off the grid, just me and the quiet. This particular trip, the air was still, almost heavy. The kind of night where sounds carry unnaturally far, or don't carry at all. I had my usual setup. A small tent tucked away from the main path, a fire sputtering cheerfully, and my old fishing boat tied to a weathered dock. I remember the first night clearly. I was out on the lake, just drifting. The stars were incredible. A vast blanket of pinprick lights. I wasn't really fishing, just enjoying the silence. Then, a voice broke it. It was my voice. Not exactly my voice, but a perfect echo. A whisper, calling my name. Michael! It startled me so much I nearly dropped my rod. I spun around, checking the shoreline, expecting to see another camper, but there was nothing. Just the dark trees and the silent water. I shrugged it off as an echo, or maybe the wind playing tricks. The lake can be strange at night. I told myself it was just my mind, eager to fill the silence with something familiar. I cast my line out again, trying to relax. Then it happened again. Clearer this time. Michael. It came from directly behind the boat, like someone was leaning over my shoulder. I whirled around, heart pounding. Nothing. Just the dark water. No ripple, no boat, no sign of anything. That was when the unease really started. I told myself I was tired, imagining things. I pulled in my line, started the small motor, and headed back to shore. The whisper, though, seemed to follow me. Always just behind, just out of sight. The next day, I didn't venture far. I stuck to the campsite, chopping firewood, reading, but the feeling lingered that I wasn't truly alone. I kept glancing at the lake, half expecting to see something emerge. The surface was perfectly still, reflecting the sky like a dark mirror. As twilight fell, I decided to be brave. I grabbed a flashlight and walked to the dock. The voice hadn't returned during the day. Maybe it was just a nighttime phenomenon. I shone the light across the water, probing the darkness. Then I heard it, not my voice this time, but a faint gurgling sound, like water struggling through a tight pipe. It was coming from right under the dock. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. I dropped to my knees, shining the light directly down into the blackness between the wooden planks. The water was surprisingly clear here, just below the surface, and that's when I saw it. It wasn't a person. It was a coil of thick, rope-like material, impossibly vast, endlessly slack. Its skin was loose, hanging in soft folds, like ancient, saturated leather. It was slowly unfolding from beneath the dock, a limb, bent the wrong way, crawling out over its back. It moved with a strange, deliberate slowness, its wrong, jointed limbs pulling its vast body forward. The gurgling sound intensified, and I realized it wasn't water at all. It was coming from the thing. A wet, choked attempt at mimicry. I scrambled back, dropping the flashlight into the water with a splash. My heart hammered against my ribs. I could still hear the gurgle, followed by a wet, distorted Michael, like my name being whispered through a mouthful of mud. I didn't stop running until I reached my tent, fumbling with the zipper, desperate to get inside. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat, clutching a fishing knife, listening to the lake. The whispers continued, always just out of sight, always my voice or some grotesque approximation of it. I realized then why I'd never seen another camper, why this place felt so unnaturally quiet. It never appeared when there was more than one person. It waited for true solitude. It waited for the moment you were utterly alone to call to you. I packed up at first light, my hands trembling. I didn't dare look back at the dock, at the water. I just walked, then ran, until the sound of the lake faded behind me. I never went back to Blackwood Lake, and I learned a rule that day. A grim lesson seared into my bones. If you hear your name called in the wild, when you know for certain you are alone, do not answer. Do not turn around. Do not acknowledge it. The water knows your name, and it wants you to acknowledge it back. Because if you answer, you invite it in. If you acknowledge it, you give it permission. And it will find you, not just in the water, but in the echoes of your own voice, wherever you seek solitude. Remember that, when the silence calls.